Okay, so today we have I'll try to stray away from using the same words, very special. So we're going to say uniquely championship identified guest in the one Elijah Bryant, who has not played as often or as long as my previous guest, but has had a hell of a career thus far. And it was very important for me to get him on here because of the fact that he was able to adapt and really hone in on taking care of his body at a young age at the start of his career. So I thought it was a different perspective to share. And welcome.
I appreciate it, man. I'm excited to, share some insight and hopefully help someone out.
Oh yeah, I think you're gonna do all of the above. So thanks again for sharing this great view with us, and thanks for letting us steal some of your time. Hopefully you had a great Father's Day weekend, and we'll jump right into it. I always start trying to figure out kind of the origin story, high school and college. Where are you originally from?
So I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
A town or city outside called Gwinnett County.
Okay.
So I played there, late bloomer. So played 4 years of high school, committed to school. They were kind of wavering, so I ended up going to prep school in New Hampshire, called New Hampton. I was there for a year, and then it was a post-grad year. And then I went to committed to Elon University, which is in Elon, North Carolina.
Okay, I know it was in one of the Carolinas. I wasn't sure which one.
And then after my first year, I kind of had to ask myself, reassess, what are my goals? What am I trying to do? After winning, Rookie of the Year, I was kind of like, am I really gonna get to my potential being here? So I decided to transfer late that summer. And ended up going to BYU, and it came down to Miami and Butler. But for me, obviously being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, it made full sense for me to go to BYU because I wanted to better myself spiritually, mentally, physically, all this stuff. I'm not saying those other schools couldn't, but for me, being around people of my same faith was definitely a big decision in that. So went to BYU, played 3 years.
And you play for coach. You play for the legendary coach?
Yeah, Rose. I played for Coach Rose.
Yeah,
I played for Rose, and then was there for 3 years, and then I had one more year of eligibility and had a great year my junior year, and I just said, it's time for me to. I was kind of like before the NIL. I was kind of like on that wave, why am I not making money? This doesn't make any sense. I'm going to school. I like school, but I'd rather be in the gym. You know what I mean? So I'm like, let me figure out a way to get this done. So left. My first year was in Israel, and I skipped over some of the part. After I left, well, I'm thinking about because it sounds so smooth and sweet, but after I left BYU, it was kind of like going out on a limb. I got married the year before, so now I'm not just making choices for me; I'm making choices for my family.
Right.
But I kind of went out on a limb, and I just knew that the work I put in, that I would give myself opportunity. Well, did the whole pre-draft stuff.
Where'd you do that at?
I did that at Impact in Vegas.
Okay.
And it was good. It was a good experience. I felt like I was, but you know how that stuff is. All that stuff is pre-planned. Who's going to get drafted and who's not going to get drafted. It's looking back. It's I was so stressed out for no reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
So did the workouts, and I was in the position of a guy who I think I had 7 or 8 workouts, but let's say I had 4 planned, and then I was the extra one. You know what I mean? This guy didn't show up. Hey, can you guys come?
Right. Right.
So I had 3 of those. I remember one time I was getting ready to go to Atlanta to visit my family, and my agent calls me and is like, "Hey, Detroit wants you. Got to get on the next flight." I'm like, "What am I gonna say? No?" You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was stressful. Anyways, did those workouts. Ended up playing summer league with Philly. Played horrible in the training camp. It was my first experience. Nerves, anxiousness.
Yeah.
But I already had the spot. You know what I mean? They already told me I had the spot, but played horrible. It's just different environment. You come from a space of being the guy and then going there trying to prove yourself with limited reps. You know what I mean? It's a tough situation. So played summer league, and I remember the coach coming to me, KY, who's the assistant coach in Phoenix right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, I'm just going to tell you guys, you probably guys aren't going to play. In my head, I'm like, I've never had that in my life. And, as a competitor, like hearing that is like, what? So that was some adversity for me. My wife was there with me, and I'm not scared to say I cried. Like I went to my room. I'm like, what is like, you know how much work we put into this? Like I was like, so
I mean,
that was
that's the moment I had in Santa Cruz. Same exact thing. Like I was with training camp with the Warriors, did decent. Like you said, didn't really get a lot of reps to showcase what I could do. But then to get dropped down to the G League, I'm like, well, shoot, I was one step away. They got to give me some minutes in love here. But they went in the direction of we're trying to establish a winning culture and we want to win a championship. So they brought in a bunch of vets and it was like, yeah, you're not going to play. And yeah, I walked to the beach and I was like, this is not what I envisioned my professional career to start out. So yeah, I cried on the beach. Like I remember like this yesterday.
Exactly. And people don't get to see those moments. They just see like now, he wants championships, all this
Right.
stuff. But
Right.
but there's a lot of hard days that we go through. So I remember barely playing in Philly, and then after just kind of the waiting game, and then finally and praying a lot. Southernmost part of Israel came, and that was probably one of the biggest blessings ever. You've played there. It's for me, it was perfect. It was a place where like, not that I have distractions, but the beach is right there. There's basketball. There's no stoplights in the city. It was a perfect situation. And then I guess I can stop there before that's a deer in the background.
That is a deer. This is the best interview yet. This is incredible.
That's the first.
I want to rewind that because I can understand and I can kind of get a sense of where your mind was in terms of statistics and the approach you had winning Rookie of the Year in that's the CAA conference. What is that?
Yeah.
CAA, and then moving on to BYU, where I read that you were an all first team performer in WCC.
Yeah.
I understand the aspect of doing your job on the floor, but what was your mindset back then at taking care of your body? Was it the same as it is now, or was it kind of a few steps back?
Yeah, I think I give all that to the credit to my mom. She's always been on top of the health journey, the fitness journey. So I've always been, per se, a little bit ahead of the game in terms of taking care of your body. So back then, I had finessed it where I had, the school having Pilates teachers come in, yoga teachers come in to do everything possible to put myself in the best position to be on the floor to play. And I felt like, Coach Rose respected it because at the end of the day, if his guys are playing more games healthy, it only helps him. It only, puts more food on the table for his family. So I think for me, my main focus, was probably like basketball. Like I was focused on basketball during school, So my routine after the game, every BYU game was I would go upstairs, get in the cryo machine. After the cryo machine, I would go contrast for 10 minutes, five, back and forth. And it was just a routine, and it was part of my routine. And if it was a super heavy game, I'd bike a little bit to get the lactic acid out. But for me, like being a guy that was always not looked down upon, but never is always counted out. I had to find every aspect in every way to gain an edge. So like I don't have a 45-inch vertical. I'm not gonna be that guy that's Steph Curry shooting threes, but I promise you, like I'm gonna try to be on the court as many games as possible, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to do that. And okay, so be it. Things happen, all that stuff, but I want to make sure I'm doing everything in my power to give myself the best chance to be on the floor. So yeah.
Amen. No, I love that approach. So going from BYU and having that summer league experience, having that training camp experience, did you notice a difference right away in the speed and the physicality in the way the game was played in NBA level?
Yeah, for sure. I noticed that. I mean, I felt like a bigger guard in college. I did getting to the NBA and seeing how fast the space can close in terms of you think you have a layup or you think you have a mid-range jump shot, and that space is gone immediately, And everyone was the guy at their school. So it, like, looking back when I first got there, it's quicker, it's faster, but like as you play more and more in that pace, you become used to it, So when I went back for the little stint I had in the NBA, it was still an adjustment, but coming from Euroleague to that, was a
Yeah.
little bit less of adjustment,
Yeah.
So I think the more and more you play against that top level, you kind of get used to it and learn how to fit in.
Tell me about the first year in a lot. I mean, that's where I really kind of found you, or you found me on
Yeah.
Instagram. We kind of created
Yeah.
our relationship, and I was trying to guide you through that process of being the guy there. And what a lot of Americans don't realize is the minutes. There's a lot of minutes. There's a lot of demand for you to produce. Otherwise, in Israeli nature, they will replace you pretty
Yeah.
fast. How was your routine then? How are you looking at handling those minutes you were receiving and still doing your job? Did you finish the number one score or top two? I forget.
I think I was one or two. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for me, it's
Because
funny
I know the recovery wasn't the same that you had at the Marriott Center versus
oh no,
Atlanta.
no, for sure wasn't. But the thing is that going into a lot, like I think I had basically like a month tryout. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And for me, that was so nerve wracking going to Israel. Looking back, I was nervous. Like I didn't know what Israel.
Yeah.
You see it all on TV. You didn't know.
Right.
My wife's packing 10 bags. Like we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
Bringing 20 deodorants. Looking back, like we can
We
go
did
to the
the
store and
same
buy
thing,
deodorant.
man. I was so
You know?
pissed. I was so mad at myself. That's just ignorant. Just ignorant.
Exactly. Packing sheets, everything. So
yeah.
when I got there, I was so focused and so locked in, just not for me, but for like my wife. She sacrificed, she left school early to come with me. So I'm like, I gotta take this serious. Like this is no joke. So like
Facts.
every day before practice, I'm in my routines. You know what I mean? I'm in my stretching routines and my ball handling routines. And I think the coach was taken back a little bit. Like this dude's like not a rookie. Like the way he approaches everything. So like I think after like our second week of practice, he like brought me in his office. He's like, look, like I'm taking the whole tryout thing out. Like I didn't know what I was getting, like in terms of professionalism.
Yeah.
So for me, and then with that being said, I don't think they expected me to produce how I produced. So they didn't plan on me playing that well. So when I did, it was kind of like a bonus for them.
Quick question, because our stories are super parallel with this Israel experience. I had a 2-week tryout. I didn't have a month. I had a 2-week tryout. And it was kind of the same thing. They didn't know what to expect. Because I was coming from the G League, where at that time, overseas kind of looked down upon G League players. They didn't think that they were serious or could do multiple things. And that they thought there was a lot of selfishness in the G League, which, as we know, it is true. The G League is basically a professional AAU league in some ways. But it was funny. My coach, same thing, was kind of taken back how serious I was, how hard and how hungry I was. And he had put me at the end of one practice against the captain, and he made us play one-on-one. And I'm thinking, like, is this like a test? Like, what's going on? Like, does he really think this guy is going to beat me? So I beat this dude 3 games, like 11-2, 11-1, 11-4. He's like, okay, yeah, we're going to take you. And I was just like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. So my agent was like, yeah, you run a 2-week trial. I was like, you didn't say nothing about a 2-week trial. I was like, no, but you're good now. I'm like,
exactly.
Okay, whatever. So it's funny that you say that. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's funny because I always tell my agent during those situations, don't tell me anything stressful. Just let me, if anything bad happens, we'll figure it out. But don't tell me anything stressful during the moment. Let me just handle it.
Okay.
So, So anyways, it worked out. And because in the beginning, I wasn't playing that much. Then they realized, they can trust me, all that stuff. But even then, I brought all the stuff I had, like my Normatec, my TENS unit, my stretching band, all this stuff. And I set up a whole room of mobility work I would do in the morning because I knew, like, looking at what I saw when I got there, I'm like, there's no possible way. Like, this isn't serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So from that aspect, I just kind of develop routines. And that's how I do my whole life is routines because it allows me to not focus on, the performance or how I did in the game. It's more about staying in those routines no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's what I did throughout the year. And I had up games, I had down stretches, but the routines allow me to, and the professionalism, they understood it wasn't like a hoax. You know what I mean? You're going to have ups and downs, but we ended up losing to Maccabi in the Final Four. And then I went and played Summer League with Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And I had a great Summer League there. And it didn't work out in terms of I didn't want to be on a 2-way, none of that. I just came off a good year. I felt like, so then I ended up signing with Maccabi. was close to signing with Partizan, pretty much almost done, but then I signed with Maccabi and went into that year kind of the same situation, like not deer in the headlights, but kind of like not realizing what level this is because I had played them year before. And I think that helped me to my benefit because when I was going into these games, I'm like, these dudes play basketball just like I play basketball. Like, I don't know, EuroLeague, Euro this, I don't care about any of that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I think if I would have went to, like, let's say Euro Cup and then like had to go EuroLeague, it would have been harder because I would have had a chance to understand what level, there's levels to the different levels of basketball. But going to play Maccabi and then going to play with Maccabi, I was like, I can play with these guys,
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying. When I left Israel, Maccabi came in late with an offer, but it was way below what Bamberg at the time was offering me. But in my mind, I was like, okay, I had Milano offer, I had Olympiacos offer, but for me, it wasn't about the EuroLeague stamp. It was more so about where can I duplicate the season I just had at a higher level. Because in my mind, kind of like you, I thought I was an NBA player no matter what. So the EuroLeague stamp didn't mean as much as me as maybe it did to the next person. Because I thought, I'm me. I'm going to kill wherever I go. So it don't really matter. But when you get out there on that floor, you realize, this is still the same game I've been playing the last 10 years. Let me get out of my own head and just do what I do best. For that year in Maccabi, outside of that, how was your body feeling that year with maybe less stress because you weren't the only player that had to do a lot, and then also having that 2 games a week schedule?
Yeah, I think that year, my first year, we had a solid team. I think we qualified for playoffs that year, but it ended up getting canceled. Didn't have as many minutes, especially in EuroLeague, and that was frustrating at first, And I feel like every player goes through that going to a new team, especially a team that's been together. It's trying to find your role and where you can help impact winning. And that's what I always tell young kids is that you got to understand, you got to star in your role. You got to understand that, like, you're not going to be the guy on every team, especially not in the NBA, maybe not even EuroLeague. Like, you got to realize and put your ego aside. That's hard at first. So hard for a lot of people. And it's still hard because you think you can do A, B, and C. So in the beginning, it was kind of hard because trying to figure out what my role is. And I really just hung my hat on defense. I'm like, in order to get in the game, I'm going to have to play defense.
I noticed that. I noticed that shift.
So I'm going to have to play defense, and then if it'll give me more opportunities on offense. So that's kind of where I really wouldn't say I gained a love for defense, like understanding how it can impact the game. And then once I was able to do that, I got a little bit more free range on offense, but it was more catch and shoot, stuff like that. But going back to my body felt good because I wasn't playing as many minutes. And I knew exactly what I was getting into. So, like, for example, coming to Turkey this year, I had to, when you go to the gym, you feel more comfortable if you've already been there before. So playing with Maccabi, I already felt comfortable knowing what gyms I'm playing in. I'm basically I'm living in the same area, kind of in Israel. So body-wise, everything felt good the whole year. Now we have chiropractors. Now we have massage. Now there's different levels in terms of taking care of the body. And at this time, I had the game ready from you. So I was just adding new things in my routine. And I'm a guy that's always trying to find something new, to add to my routine that could maybe give me a slight advantage. So I would say that year my body felt pretty good.
Okay. And you guys won the Israeli League, I'm assuming, that year, or you said the whole year got canceled?
The year got canceled.
No, you guys came back.
We came back.
Yeah, that's right.
We came back and we won it. That was a long, long season, but we won the Israeli League and then started back at a month pretty much. Yeah.
Now, the second year of Maccabi, what was different? What was better? What was worse? How was your body feeling then? Since you had this is your third year in Israel, you know exactly what to expect. The grocery stores you're shopping at, the restaurants you're going to. So there's less guesswork.
Yeah. Like you say, I like to say, like, our brain's like a computer and you only have so much power you can put out. I'm using less power, to find the grocery store, to find this, to figure out all this stuff. So I was able to use more of that, brain power to focus on basketball. But also I feel like I was given more of, I had more responsibility on the court now because I knew what I could do, all this stuff. So
Yeah.
coming back in that year, I felt like I felt a lot more comfortable knowing I would have more opportunity on offense. But that year was tough for us in terms of, I think we probably lost like 6 games by 5 or less points. You
You talking about in general, or you talking about EuroLeague?
EuroLeague, not
Okay.
Israeli League.
Okay.
Yeah. We lost like Olympiacos at the buzzer, a few other games. But anyways, body-wise, our body was feeling good. So for me, I kind of base my recovery off of minutes played. So
Okay.
if I'm 30 plus minutes, it's full go. Like everything in my pocket I'm doing. So
Yeah.
this year, for example, like if it's 30 minutes plus, next day I'm in the pool doing a pool workout.
Yeah.
Like trying to get all the lactic acid out, all that stuff, knowing I want to lift 2 to 3 times a week, knowing I'm probably not gonna do a heavy lift. So I'm gonna try to do a hard pool workout. In Israel, I didn't have the pool, but I wasn't playing crazy minutes like I was at the end of this season this year. So body-wise was feeling good. I'm getting my massage once a week. I'm making sure I'm touching the ice bath after every practice, which it gets old because you're like, you get out of practice, you're like, I'm good today.
I'm going home.
Yeah,
yep. I want to go be with the wife, be with my son, call it a night.
Yep. Exactly. But like, then you like do that for a few days and like, damn, my body's feeling kind of a little tight, So trying to stay on that routine and stay on my, mini band exercise in the morning. It's funny because as you continue to per se level up and get on better teams or have more distractions, kids stuff, it gets harder and harder. So you have to find more time to make sure you're doing your routines. And that's what I noticed is, making sure I'm staying on top of my routines, even that year. But that year, my body was feeling good.
Yeah. I want to take a step back in what you just said about kind of finding your role and finding ways to impact the game to win, to help your team win. And the common theme, obviously, between us playing is Israel. And with that, I thought of another player that played in Israel and had a hell of a year, won a championship, and that's PJ Tucker. And what a lot of people don't realize about PJ Tucker is that he was the MVP of the finals, or maybe the league, I think, when they won it. And did the same thing in Germany. Killer. Yeah. The same thing in Germany at Bamberg, my other former club, where MVP helped Bamberg win, I think, back-to-back championships. And then he went from a scorer in Europe to a straight defender and hustle guy and three-point corner specialist, and just, I'm going to dive on every ball, I'm going to get every rebound. And now it's had a hell of a career. So I think what you're saying is so true, but it takes a special kind of understanding to remove ego and to remove expectation and just sacrifice. And a lot of guys aren't ready for that, especially at the younger stages of their career. I know I wasn't, because I had some Olympiacos fans hitting me when I was thinking about signing there, and all I could think in my mind was, why would I go play 18 minutes behind Spanoulis when I think I'm better than Spanoulis? That doesn't make any sense to me. So that was the young version of me and my ego saying, no, I got to go somewhere I can be me. But yeah, man, impact and winning goes a long way. And that probably leads and segues to the next chapter after Maccabi, which is where?
So after Maccabi, Milwaukee ended up, buying me out of my contract. And I got to sneak on to, the Milwaukee Bucks for a few last season games, and it was a long journey, figuring out all this stuff. Like we say, I mean, everything's a sacrifice,
you're talking about like logistics.
Logistics, is it worth it? I'm here, I'm comfortable. Yeah. And I always tell my wife this. I always tell her this, like in all our decisions, whatever path you think is the hardest, you should probably choose that one, even if you don't feel it. So like for us, like we're about to finish the season, we're talking about, going home. We can't wait to go home. And then this pops up, and it's like, you're like, yes, the NBA, but you're also like, dang, like, your mind at the end of the season, your mind set on like, I'm about to be on the plane back home.
I got some vacations lined up. I got family to see.
Exactly. You can relax for a little bit. So we prayed about all that stuff, and we ended up going, and we went to Chicago. She left, went back to Utah, and I went to Milwaukee. Again, sacrifice. And then we get to I'm in the hotel. I'm in the hotel the whole time. I'm there. So finally, fast forward, I'm finally with the Bucks, all this stuff, and I'm going to play in this game, this last regular season game. And they had it was like a tight squeeze. They didn't know if Brooklyn was going to lose, and they had a chance to go
Yeah.
number one. So they're like watching the game to the end. And for people that don't understand, especially during COVID, like all the guys who aren't playing are like in a separate locker room. Like all the two-way guys, like guys on the end of the bench, like, because everything's spread out. So like me, Justin Jackson, Axel, Sam Merrill, Mamadi, all these guys in the other locker room. And I hadn't even dressed the game yet. It's the last regular season game. So the coach was coming in and telling me, hey, you're not dressed tonight. Okay. It still hits your ego a little bit. Like, whatever.
For sure.
Tonight, he was like, you're dressing. I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, this is it, right? So I told this story before, but I'm in the back of the locker room. I'm practicing how to rip off the pants, because I'm like, I've seen way too many people like go out there and make a fool of themselves. So the guys are back there laughing at me because I'm running, like ripping them off, trying to rip them off, because they make it look easy on TV. It's not as easy when you rip it off.
For sure.
So finally, fast forward, we still don't know like if we're gonna play in the game. So we get the game's about to start, and they get word that Brooklyn won. It's whatever their spot secure, and they scratch everyone off the list. Chris, PJ, all these guys, right? And they start all the young guys. I'm like the first guy off the bench. And at the time we had the mask on. I was probably hyperventilating at the time. But you can't see because I had the mask on, right? So finally I just told myself, and I was sitting next to John, like, when I get it, I'm shooting it. The first ball I touch, I'm shooting it, just to like get those nerves out. Like you know how it is. Like once you shoot the first one, you miss, airball, whatever, you're like, okay, I'm here. Like it's basketball. So that's pretty much what happened. I shot the first one and went in. Ended up playing a decent game, and after it was just like a surreal moment. Like like NBA is basketball. Like, there's a lot of guys overseas, a lot of people that play in the NBA. It's just about opportunity, right? So after that, I realized like that's the NBA. Like all it needs is the opportunity to play in the NBA. And at that moment, I knew like if the opportunity presented itself, I could have a chance to stick in the NBA. But if it didn't, I'm no hard feelings. I've checked that box. You know what I mean? Like, no hard feelings. So fast forward, we ended up, through the playoffs, all this stuff, and we get to the championship. And I'm not playing obviously a lot, maybe here and there, bogus minutes at the end. And finally, we ended up winning the championship, and at the time it's just like surreal, because you look back at not only all the sacrifices you've made in terms of professional career. I mean, like to be at this level, you have to like, since you're age 3, like my son's starting now, he's 2, like, so like, and not just me, like your parents, like how much time and money they sacrifice. So it was a surreal moment, and it was super cool to, have my family there with me. And then moving on to the next year, summer league stuff. I didn't play. I had a little injury I was dealing with, and then played well in the preseason games. But the thing is that I was still on my regular contract, so they had to like switch it up and give me on a different contract. So I told myself like, okay, whatever. Like I'm going to preseason training camp. First of all, my main focus here, we talk about health, is I need to get in shape. Like I need to get in shape because I missed some time, and I've been like been chilling. Like I haven't been doing anything. So I said, okay, I'm gonna use these 2 weeks. NBA preseason training camp is like 3 days, like literally 3 days. It's nothing.
And then you go right to games.
Exactly, right to games. So like for me, I'm coming in late at night, running, shooting, trying to get in shape, knowing that like this is me living in reality, knowing that like I'm probably gonna get cut. Like I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at what kind of team they're building. I'm probably gonna get cut, but I'm gonna use all their facilities until I do get cut.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be on the VersaClimber, I'm being cryo, I'm getting massages. So that was my mentality of like get in shape, use all the facilities, all this stuff, play as good as you can, and just see if you get opportunity. And after the Utah game, played well. I stayed in Utah for a day, and then ended up cutting me. But I went back to just say, thank you for the opportunity. Because I mean, it was a special. They didn't have to buy me out of my contract, all that stuff. And then, but yeah, that's pretty much the Milwaukee situation.
And I'm assuming your body was probably doing okay, since you weren't having that burden of heavy minutes. You were probably feeling more emotional and spiritual and mental stuff than anything, if I were to assume. So then after Milwaukee, you end up here in Turkey. Is this correct?
Yeah. So after Milwaukee, go ahead.
Did you have that summer to prepare this second time around? Did you feel more confident? Did you feel strong? Did you feel like your shape was pretty good coming into Anadolou?
Yeah. So I'll say I got cut September-ish, and then ended, and within like a month, less than a month, I was with Efes. But like I said before, during those preseason games, playing, not playing, I'm trying to get in shape, knowing I'm about to get cut or something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So going into Efes, they were 0-4 in Euroleague. So it was like a Friday, like we want to go on a flight Monday. I'm like, you know this life, like, all right, I mean, what am I gonna do? Say no? Like,
right.
So the reigning
72
champs,
hours, everything is 72 hours.
Exactly. So I'm like, pack the bags, tell them I'll see you guys in maybe a month or so. So get over there, and we're dealing with a lot of injuries. So I'm thrown right in. The coach is like, look, like, you're probably gonna play 30 minutes tomorrow. And I'm going from playing like 15 to 30 minutes. So as soon as it clicks in my head as I hear that, I'm in the room hydrating like crazy, doing my BAM work, making sure like everything is tight. Like, 'cause that's how you get injured, like going from not playing to playing a lot of minutes.
Because people think, like, when they see 15 versus 30, they're thinking just another 15. What they don't realize is that 15 is not real time. That's basketball time, which 15 could be 30 to 45 minutes where you're running and jumping and moving and stopping and sliding and turning. So like, there is a preparation there's a certain ramp up you need to get to before you can just do it. That's why a lot of guys struggle from playing. I played 20 minutes a game in college. Okay, that's not 38 minutes a game as a pro.
Yeah, exactly. So I get there, like I said, they're injuries, so I'm playing a lot, and we end up winning against Unix, and then like a day or 2 days later, we have another game. And this is like 48 hours after I got off the flight. You know what I mean? But for people that don't understand, like overseas, they don't care. Like it doesn't matter. You signed a contract, like you're here to play. So like what I would say to guys that are trying to play overseas is like, don't give them any, like I like to call locus of control. Like take everything, like control what you can control. Take care of your body, make sure you're hydrated, all that stuff. Because regardless of what happens, you know, you get hurt, they might cut you. So don't give them that opportunity to do that. So so it was going well. You know, it's going well for me. All of a sudden, I'm playing well. But guys are injured, so guys are coming back, you know. And that's when it's like, because I get there, you know, I got the ball in my hands. I'm playing like I wasn't Maccabi. I can do what I want. Coach can't take me out because there ain't nobody to put in. So they start coming back, and that's when it starts kind of like, all right, well, you're not doing that A, B, and C. Like, you know, I'm trying to find my role in terms of. So it took a while for me to really like put the ego aside. Like you said, I'm like, yo, like I'm just as good as Voss. What do you mean? Like, why he got to get dribble the ball? But it's not being on an elite team and understanding like, okay, maybe per se he is better, or maybe I am better, but it's putting the ego down. And what helped me, I started like asking him questions, learning from him. I'm like, I mean, now 2-time final, you know, MVP, all that stuff. He might actually know something. Like I'm over here being prideful when I could actually learn something from him and help my game. So like, it's funny because my teammates used to make fun of me after the practice. Cause I'm over there asking him questions. He's like Coach Carter and me. You know what I mean? Like we're like going through like stuff. He's putting me through drills, and I'm like, it's funny to y'all now, but it's not gonna be funny when I get first team all Euroleague. You know what I mean? So it's putting that pride aside. And once I was able to do that and understand, like, okay, for me to get minutes on this team and to help the team win, I gotta play defense. I can't have any mental mistakes. I gotta box out. I gotta. Don't think when I get the ball, 'cause I'm probably gonna get it at 3 seconds. Shoot it. Don't do anything else. You know what I mean? But it was realizing that, and we make a joke out of it. We call it grenades, but it's realizing that, but also understanding that my role is gonna evolve over time. As I continue to elevate and progress my game. But being a younger player on an elite team, it's hard to be like, nah, like, okay, he has it right now. It's his right now. You know what I mean? So once I was able to do that, I think it really helped me and helped the team. And then we got on a roll here and there, and then we got a break with these Russian teams, you know, getting out of the EuroLeague and stuff like that. And you know, once you get the Final Four, it's kind of like who can play the best and who can hit shots. And you know, Vossa played amazing. We hit some shots. Tibor played amazing. I played well the semifinal game, and we got one.
And during that whole time, do you ever feel like, man, did you hit a wall? Did you feel like your legs were heavy? Did you feel like shoulder was out, you got some cramps, like any of that ever come to surface?
So during that time, not so much, because we were pretty much the whole time like full roster. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
guys are rotating. I wasn't playing that many minutes just because coach trying to figure me out. He has his guys who've been together for 4 years. So during that time, we have massages, we have all this stuff to make your body feel right. I have all my stuff with me. So I would say when I started feeling it was after Final Four, because going into the Final Four, you're so locked in. Like I'm giving out scouting reports basically, like, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, because guys like trying to win, like, you know what I mean? But after Final Four, having to come back and play a domestic league competition is so difficult on the mind. You know, like, and these teams are ready. You know what I mean? Like they're ready.
You got that brand new shiny bullseye on your back.
Exactly. So coming back, we had to play Karasheka, who had to wait 11 days to play us because we postponed it. And, you know, they were ready to go. So we beat them, and then going to a team like Gala, I mean, that's a tough team. Plus,
crazy environment.
Exactly. And guys are just exhausted. At this time, we have injuries. You know, like guys are out. Coach is locked in on his roster. He's not changing it. Games are every 2 days. You know, main guards are playing 30-plus minutes. So you start like, man. And that's when, like, for me, I started thinking about these guys like Giannis, all this stuff, who have these long seasons, but are so locked in, like, on their body, on their routine. Because then it's so easy just to be like, no, I'm not going to ice bath. We only got 10 more days. You know what I mean? Like, we only got a few more days. But that's the slip up, because that type of stuff, not doing your exercises, can get you injured, you know? So that's what I say.
Sounds like that's the separation from all NBA to all star.
Exactly. And that's when I would say I was hitting the wall of, like, man, keep pushing, like, trying to figure it out. And it's finding motivation during then, like, you just won Euroleague. Like, now you're trying to win a domestic league championship. Like, guys are like, nah, come on. Like, you know, so it's tough, but it's tough. And you're playing a crazy amount of minutes. And so we ended up losing in the domestic league championship, but Fenerbahce was obviously the better team. They were well rested. They had most of their guys, and they deserved it. So we lost it, but it was a great season.
Still a hell of a year, without a doubt. Okay. The topic I've been dying to ask, and, you know, obviously a major congratulations to you on a back-to-back championship run that not too many, if any, have ever done or accomplished. And whether that's intentional, whether that's intentional or not, or
one of two,
or just great timing and grace, and, like you said, praying to God and putting you in the right spots. What you've done really well, what you've always highlighted on your Insta, is Pilates. So walk me through, you know, where did that start? How much has that helped you? And I know you talk about having something always challenging and new. It sounds like that's really done it for you.
Yeah. So for me, in college, you know, I was dealing with little nagging injuries here and there. And, you know, in college, they lift you like football players, you know? So I was just trying to figure out, like, I'm doing the math. Like, there's no way my body's holding up, like, to play how long I want to play. And my mom has started this class called Pilates. So I'll come home. She's like, oh, you should go to Pilates with me. I'm like, I'm not going to the old lady class. Like, that's weird. I'm not doing that. So I just come one time and try it. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll go. Like, I mean, I stayed up late. Okay, I'll go to this class. I go, I'm in there. I'm looking around like, what's going on? Like, no way these old ladies are in here holding these poses like this. So that's when I realized, I'm like, this is a weakness in, you know, the artillery I'm trying to build. So, and not only that, it's less impact. When I leave, I don't feel like, dang, like, what just happened? So I said, this has to become some sort of part of my routine. And, you know, at BYU, that's when I started really locking in and really doing it as much as possible. And then now, fast forward, like, when I was in Israel, I found a girl that I would do it with. But now my mom actually went to school and became a Pilates teacher, so she can train me. She has a studio in her house now, but I have my own, you know, mat routine that I need to do. Like, I have the full workout, and if I know, okay, probably don't want to lift today, I got a Pilates routine that I can go through. It's about an hour long, and we'll work all the target muscles that, you know, that I'm not hitting all the time.
What does your pool workouts consist of? I know you brought that up consistently, and I know I used to do pool workouts, but mine
Yeah.
was really geared more towards my legs, and like you said, taking out some of that pounding and letting the water absorb that heaviness. But I was doing a lot of jumping, a lot of sprinting, a lot of running, a lot of deep slides. What do your pool workouts look like?
Yeah, so a lot of holding the wall, kicking,
Mm-hmm.
doggy paddling, hold my breath as long as possible underwater,
Mm-hmm.
ankle jumps, ankle bounds,
Mm-hmm.
everything you would do like in terms of speed and agility, um, bound jumps, all that stuff, but
Yeah.
in the water.
Yeah.
So I'm still getting
Yeah.
the explosiveness, but I'm landing gracefully.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are great. At least the physios, I still keep in contact with the physios in Milwaukee, and ask them certain things to help. And those are great after hard days on the court. So I
Yeah.
try to, and it's fun for the mind too. Like going to the weight room every single day isn't fun. So like mixing Pilates in,
Yeah.
mixing different stuff in, allows the mind to kind of get re-engaged.
Well, it allows the body to gain that strength too. At some point, your body becomes resistant to the same routine. So if you're
Mm.
not adapting and pushing it past its limits, then you're not going to get the gains that you want on the other side. I think also what I wanted to ask you about, you do a great job on your Instagram of sharing that you and your family get out in the cities that you go to, that you live in, that you experience. How does that play effect in your body and your mind and the way you look at a season?
Yeah, I think for me, I always try to, I'm living here for 10 months and not vacationing, so to trying to become part of the cultures, trying new things, that type of stuff allows me to really feel like I'm at home instead of, oh, practice is over, go home, hop on the game, or do A, B, and C and not get out,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my wife and I always once a week, even if we can't get out, order something new, try something new,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and when we do have free time, go experience something. Don't just sit in the house, So
Yeah.
I think that allows you to really not only grow to like the place, but also, you understand the culture and
Mm-hmm.
it makes it feel more like home.
Yeah. No, it was dope. I think one of your stories, you were asking your followers where you could get a stroller or where you could get some
Yeah,
shoes for your son. And I'm like, damn, I never
yeah,
thought about that. That was really cool. That was really dope. And I'm sure you got hella responses, especially from
yeah,
Maccabi fans.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
and the next set of questions are just more fun, more laid back, looking at your experience. I know you haven't played a ton, but what's your favorite arena to play in overseas?
Favorite arena to play in is between Maccabi. And sorry, this is fan. I'm based off fans. Obviously, right
Yeah,
now, I like
however you
playing
want, however you want
playing.
to base
Yeah,
it.
either Maccabi, but Gala was a fun arena.
That's what
Karasheka
Josh.
was a
That's what
fun.
Josh Owen said as well. He said Gallo.
Yeah, and it's funny because we play there, so it's like it's our arena, but when their fans are there, it's like, what just happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's yeah, it's an advantage for them, but you just look around like, man, this is fun basketball. Like, it's just
Right.
fun.
Right.
So yeah, probably Gala.
Okay. Flip side. Worst, least favorite. Like you just get in there, like, man, I just can't stand this place. The seating is bad. The lights are bad. The rims are old. Whatever the case may
Oh,
be.
I'm taking out all domestic leagues because we
Okay.
know how those rims are. Those rims are disgusting, disgusting.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Kimki. I did not like playing in Kimki. It's just like, first of all, the hotel is horrible that they put you in. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Food's trash. The beds are trash. But yeah, Kimki.
Okay. Favorite city to live in thus far?
I mean, I've only lived in a few cities, but I'll
I
say,
know, but I gotta put the
yeah, yeah,
pressure on
yeah,
you.
yeah. I mean, Istanbul and Tel Aviv are two top cities.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Tel Aviv just because I've been Tel Aviv for longer, but
Yeah.
the beach is right there. I'm
Yep.
scootering everywhere.
Yep.
So yeah, Tel Aviv.
What about your favorite city to visit in Europe, just in general, that you and your wife have experienced, or you've gone to with a team? And you're just like, man, I can see myself here. This is really fun.
Yeah. We really liked Italy when we visited.
Mhm.
The food, they had a bunch of good food spots. So I'll definitely say, yeah, probably Italy.
Speaking of food, what's your go-to food overseas? Is it Italian? Is it Mediterranean? Is it Indian? Is it? I've never found good Mexican overseas. I'm just gonna put that out
Nah,
there. I
still,
hope. I
yeah,
hope.
still haven't.
Thank you.
Still haven't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's trash.
I don't think it
Um,
exists.
yeah, for us, it's probably because we like once we try to get a cheat meal. So we like to try all different types of pizza, whatever city we're in. So yeah, it's probably like trying to find like gourmet pizza spots.
Okay. What's your favorite pizza spot in Israel?
Oh my God, I forgot the name of it. I'll have to get it for my wife the name, but we would hit it. We talked about trying to get it before we left or when I went to Israel. Man, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, I forgot the name.
All good, all good. What about looking at it from this side? What was your best game individually overseas so far?
Individually, overseas, excluding all domestic, I'm not going to include domestic. I'm going to say Euroleague. It was against, I guess we'll go off points. No, we won't go off points. We'll go off. I feel like it's my best game. Was points-wise, it would be Efes when I was with Maccabi.
Okay.
But when we played Cheska,
that's what got you your deal. They remembered that game and wanted to.
I guess. When we played Cheska at home, no one really knew who I was, but I came out. We had some guys that were out, and we had and that's when Cheska was like, yeah, Mike James. They had the squad, right?
Yeah, they had Will. They had Carlon or something.
They had all those guys. So I think I had like 14 points, and looking back, I'm like, 14 points. That's really not that. Like, you know what I mean? Because but EuroLeague is different. It's different.
Yeah.
Scoring.
That's like having 27.
So, exactly. So I think when we played Cheska, we won, and they were number one at the time. It was a big win for us, and that's when I was like, dang man, I can do this.
Yeah. Hardest player to guard. Whether that's your assignment or whether that's you just happen to switch on this dude and it was just like, dang, he's stronger than I thought, or I didn't know he could go left, or whatever the case may be.
I would say right now, I'm looking through EuroLeague, Mike James is up there for sure. Because he's so the thing about not only is he skilled, but he has no leash at all. That's the issue.
That's the worst. That's the worst person you could ever guard.
Yeah. Worst possible formula is that,
so
and he can hit the shot.
Real quick, that sounds like my Jimmer experience when me and Jimmer were in the Mountain West at the same time. Yeah. You could have the whole scouting report. You could have, it doesn't matter. If that person has a green light, I used to joke with people. I said, man, that light is so damn green. It's freaking clear. Like, it's just clear now. Like, press, double, blitz, ice down. It just don't matter. It does not matter.
Can't do anything.
Zero.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt, because it's the fact that he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care what the coach says, doesn't care about none of that. No, anything is possible. So you're like trying to guard without fouling, then you foul him, and then he's going by you, and you're just all over the place. So yeah, definitely Mike.
Yeah, that's the worst feeling as a defender, man. You just out there. you just out there
on an island,
hoping they miss, right? And it's just like, man, Jimmer averaged 36 against us, and I'm just like, people always ask, like, why didn't you guys? I'm like, trust me, it was everything. It was everything. We tried everything. And what guys don't get about players like that is, like, not only is it the green light, but they're so unpredictable. There's no like patterns.
Yeah.
You don't expect a 1 foot leaner to the left. You don't prepare for that. So I got you. The other question who have been some of your favorite teammates thus far in your young career that have really either helped you learn something, that have kind of held you down, that have showed you the ropes, whatever the case may be, or just who you just enjoy playing with in general?
Yeah, I think I've been blessed to have a bunch of great teammates. From Fellows, Scotty, Tar.
Fellows a great teammate, man.
Yeah,
Fellows amazing. We were teammates in summer league when I first came out.
Yeah, but I mean, just from Shane's been good. All these, how it is. The Americans all bond together, and you kind of like have a group. So I'd say all my Americans that have been on the team have been super, super helpful, and kind of bringing me in and allowing me to not only be myself, but encouraging me to be more. I remember my first year, they'll always telling me, you need to attack, you need to do this, and this is like the year before you won the EuroLeague. So I'm like, he's telling me I should probably be doing it. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. So those American guys, Othello, those type of guys.
Okay. Is there anything you wish you would have known going into it prior? What are some of the biggest things?
I'm already like a type A, like not take what's mine, but like make sure no one screws me over. But I wish I would have
Mm-hmm.
been more aware of the cutthroat of the business. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And understanding that, make sure watch what you're signing, make sure you're, cross your T's, dot your I's, not giving them any excuse to cut you, not giving them any excuse to fine you,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that, the teams are looking for ways to save money. The team,
Right.
just be on the lookout, making sure that you're being as professional as possible, but also watching what they're doing too.
Yeah, that's a great point. I try to tell guys that as well. Especially if you are fortunate enough, like we were at certain times, to create that leverage. Because that's what's going to set you apart. That's going to hold you and your family okay. Sometimes you gotta play that card, like you said earlier. Well, shoot, coach, I know you're going to do this, but who are you going to sub me for? No disrespect, but I got to take advantage of what I got.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to be rude, it's just the way of the game, because they will turn around and beat on you immediately.
Exactly.
Last two questions on this front. Best year so far. What was your favorite year so far?
Every year, probably this year in terms of overseas. It's up and down, but to win the EuroLeague championship and to play how I played, in those games was a pretty good year for me.
Yeah. Hardest year. What was the toughest year so far as a pro?
Hardest year, probably like last year going into Milwaukee, just because, or the COVID year, because my wife was pregnant when we left because of COVID, and then I had to come back. And this is going back to trying to figure out how to operate with these teams. Is I'm back at home, she's 8 months pregnant, they're calling me back.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out what's up with how I'm able to come back.
Yeah,
they're more focused on winning games, so that was mentally very, very tough. Trying to compartmentalize, okay, am I doing the right thing, or am I trying to take care of my family, but I'm leaving when she's pregnant? So that was probably my toughest year.
I think we had a brief conversation about that. Yeah. Like you said, as soon as you sign that paper, it's like
it's over.
It's like you're not human in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're more like property.
Sure.
They feel like they can move you however they want. What was the hardest
100%.
year for you physically? Where it's like your body wasn't responding, or like you said, you hit a wall and couldn't get over the hump. You dealt with too many nagging injuries that couldn't really allow you to be yourself on the court.
Yeah, I would say, knock on wood, I haven't had too many nagging injuries, but that first year, like you said, once they realized I could produce, my minutes were 30 plus every night. You know what I mean? And having to manage your body in terms of the minutes and just one game a week. So you're practicing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. You're practicing like scrimmaging hard. So it's not
all
like
5 on 5.
Exactly. Exactly. So trying to manage that, but also insert yourself as a rookie. I can't pull the vet card as a rookie just because I'm averaging 18. I got to come every single day and prove why I'm trying to get to EuroLeague next year. So that was tough, mentally trying to stay locked in and mentally trying to stay locked in on my body.
Yeah, I don't know what a lot's practice setup was like. The only time I pulled that kind of leverage card when I was leading the league in scoring, for some reason we had stickers on our floor during practice because we would practice where we play. So whenever I would fall on a sticker, I would fall and I would just lay there. And they're like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah," but I'm telling my Israeli teammates, I'm trying to sell this. Just give me some more time. So by the third time, I had 2 younger Israeli teammates. They looking like, "He's doing it again. He's doing it again." They were like, "Thank you. We needed a break." I'm like, "I got y'all."
Yeah, exactly. Those stickers are the worst.
Stickers are terrible. The NBA is dope because now everything's digital. It's all through lights and displays. So yeah, EuroLeague and the domestic leagues need to get on board. Circling back on some of the other questions, I forgot this one. Who had the best, I guess, let's say, I know you didn't want to talk about the domestic league, but I think you're still a scorer. I'm going to give you that title as you earned it. But who had the best scheme against you since you played so far? Or you just couldn't get going, or you were frustrated, or they threw something crazy at you?
I'm going to have to go back to, Maccabi days. So, or even a lot days. I think for me, I've never been okay, get the switch ISO guy.
Yeah.
It's more so the 4-man picks and pop, my guy stunts, I back cut layup. I'm gonna back cut you to death. I'm gonna do all that stuff. So what used to piss me off the most is when guys wouldn't bite on my back cuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or and it would be like, dang, that's like 8 points right there, like
Yeah.
8 easy points. Because if I get those, then it's a wrap. Now I'm getting to the free throw line. Now I'm getting on transition. So I would say, I mean, like probably one of these Israeli teams. I don't remember which one. You know, they go do like a 2-3 into a matchup, and all of a sudden you
Yeah.
notice there's 6 seconds left on the shot clock. And you're like, what just happened? You
Yeah.
know. So probably like a team like Beersheba where they, press and do all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And then, is there a noticeable difference between the physicality of overseas versus the NBA or overseas versus college?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, I would say overseas and college is it's fit, and I'm just saying overall, domestically, in Israel, it's football. It's not
Yeah.
even basketball.
Yeah.
Like, so definitely a difference in that. But EuroLeague, they understand like, okay, a foul's a foul, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the
Mm-hmm.
toughest thing for me my first year, realizing like, my first year in Israel, I was wearing the under pads,
Yeah. Me too.
the
Yep.
pads on my legs, like
Yep.
it was full on football. But I realized like I gotta protect myself, So
Mm-hmm.
definitely a difference domestically, college, NBA, physicality, super physical in the paint, but outside the paint, you touchy fouls, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Once you get inside the paint, I feel like it's super, super physical.
Okay. In 3 words, how would you describe your career thus far? I know I got a couple words that come to my mind from this conversation and from watching you from afar, but what would you say?
I'll say describe my career. I'll say blessed. I'm gonna say hard work is no, blessed, earned, um, potential. There's more to come, I would say.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Uh,
From what I gather, it's discipline, it's sacrifice, and I would say perseverance. Because like you
sure.
said, you've been tested a lot.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure people are going to want to know my last couple of questions. How do you discern how you work out in the summer? What does that look like when you get back from overseas? Are you taking time? Do you jump right
Mhm.
in? Are you straight Pilates for the first 3 weeks? What does that look like?
Yeah, so this is actually my first summer, like really off because I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to chase the NBA, all that stuff, trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
So this summer, I told myself like I'm going 2 weeks of not thinking of anything about basketball. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not thinking about I'm not thinking about what I eat. And obviously, I don't eat like cake and all this crazy stuff, but I'm not thinking about it because I'm so strict and gung ho over it during the season for these past 4 years. I need a mental break.
Right.
But once I start to lock back in, it'll be an ease into it. Pool workouts, Pilates, all that stuff. But I like during the off season, I like to kind of like deload, like because I lift heavy during the season, so I like to be
Mm-hmm.
in Pilates. I do Pilates, weights, basketball. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I play some pickup, but I don't play as much. The pickup's more for conditioning and trying
Yeah.
stuff. I'd rather play one stuff like that
Yeah.
because people don't realize like, okay, yeah, I'm not scared to play, but it's my job, it's my body. I don't need to be getting hurt playing
Yeah.
pickup, trying
Yeah.
to prove something to you guys. It doesn't even matter, So
Right.
that's usually my routine: Pilates, weights, shots, and not just workouts, but workouts specific to what I'm gonna get in my system next year. I'm
Yeah.
not in there doing James Harden isolations. That's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So really tailored specific workouts to the shots that I'm gonna get in our system.
Yeah. As far as your own lifting, is that done by you? Do you have a strength coach? Do you have a skills trainer? What does that look like?
Yeah. So I'll do Pilates either at a studio or my mom.
Does my guy Pope and Cody let you in the gym, man? What's going on over there?
Yeah. I can get in the gym in Utah. I'm good. I'm good for the gyms in Utah. So
Yeah.
so I'll lift with this guy named Shoshan, and then lift or shoot with my guy Adam. But a
Mm-hmm.
skills trainer, weight coach, but it's all specific based. Like,
Yeah.
how'd your body feel this year? Oh, you felt like this, that? Okay, let's work on that. It's not just a general workout plan.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going heavy leg day, I'm not going heavy in the gym. If it's a lighter leg day, lighter stuff, I'm going heavy in the gym. But it's just it's a gradual thing, and that's the hardest thing for me because I can't take time off. I don't know how to take time off.
Yeah.
So like I told myself this year, like I'm gonna let my body relax for a second, like So that's the plan.
So if I were to map it out, let's say you're going, I'm assuming 3 to 4 times a week in the weight room. maybe 5 times a week on the court, and then you got Pilates every day and pool every day, or is it kind of Pilates pool, Pilates pool? How does that look?
I'll try to hit Pilates 3 times a week.
Okay.
Pool twice. Yeah, I'm trying to get in the gym five times a week, and then weights 3 to 4. Mix in some speed and agility depending on what I'm doing on the court. You know what I mean? If it's more shots, maybe I can mix in some speed and agility. My biggest thing is I want to try to use all my. If I had an energy bar, I want to try to use all my impact on the court.
Mm-hmm.
So if I need to condition, I'm not going to just run suicides. I'm going to run with shots. You know what I mean? I'm going to do something that's 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
Just because at the end of the day, we only have so many jumps or so many steps we can put on our body. So that's my thought process.
Got it. In season, how does that transform? Do you take a day out of that in terms of lifting? Do you take a day out of shooting? Do you add more pool days and add more Pilates days? What does that look like?
Yeah, so depending on, I just listen to my body. So I'm not playing as much in the beginning of the season. When the guys came back, I started going to a skills trainer because I'm like, I'm not playing. I'm just practicing. What am I doing? Like, I need to be working out. Well, I'm going to a skills trainer, but as soon as my minutes start going back up, I get back in my routine, which is tailored on my shots in the game. So I'm doing my, 3 in a row spot shots from 3 after practice, every single day, lifting 3 times a week, pool workout, depending on how the body feels. So it's just listening to the body. As soon as my body starts feeling weird, legs are tired, I'm cutting back maybe on the shooting after practice or maybe less shooting, but I try to never cut back my weights because that's what protects the body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to make sure that's a focus. But if I'm not doing that, I'm doing Pilates or I'm doing swimming. I'm trying to make sure the body stuff can't be toned back. The skill stuff, okay, I can get shots up before the game or stuff like that. But body-wise, my body hurts, I can't shoot. So that's the focus.
Yeah, I like that correlation. What's the last 2 questions? Is there a cost effective, because I know a lot of guys don't have money coming out as rookies, but maybe they do now with this NIL deal. But what would you say are the probably 1 to 2 most important things? Like, would you recommend them getting some bands? Would you recommend them getting a TENS unit? Would you recommend them, I don't know, trying to get a Normatec? What kind of things do you suggest they bring that first year or 2 out?
I would say this. If they're not using the ice bath at their school, then I don't know if they need Normatec. That's the cheapest thing ever. Like, there's no reason for you to say I need a Normatec now because you have money, but you're not using the ice bath, all your tools. Right. So I would say, okay, forget all the recovery modalities. Get band, mini bands, use the ice bath. That will get you through first 5 years. I mean, you don't even really need the other stuff, like so. But it's about like, okay, if you can't do ice bath, you're not willing to sacrifice to make your body right. So why do you need a Normatec? So that's my thought process.
I like that. And then the final question is, outside of the physical stuff, in general, what advice would you give to those rookies coming out, those current vets who are trying to get to the levels that you've seen and everything else in between?
Yeah, I think for me, I've always put a super focus on mental. I meet with the sports psychologist once a week, and journaling and understanding that it's a journey and you have to enjoy the journey. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. And it's easy for me to say now, obviously, because I'm coming off a high, but everyone goes through downs. I don't care. Giannis, all these people go through downs, understanding that, but writing it down so you know that when you do go through that down, how to get back. And for me, that's always work. It's always extra shots, extra this, extra that, knowing that it can't rain forever. And it can't, there's no possible way. But some guys can't manage that. They're like, F it, he's not playing me. I don't care. I get that way, but I get it saying it while I'm driving to my, skills trainer. I'm pissed off, but I'm still on the way there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know that that's what's going to snap me out of it, So that's the biggest thing I would say is understanding it's a long season. Okay, you get cut. What's next? What are you gonna do next? Are you gonna go home and call it quits? Or are you gonna go to this second division team and get to work? So it's about understanding it's a journey and not focusing really like on certain what little things that happen. Just focus on the bigger picture.
Okay. And last question: Are you going back to FS next year?
Yeah. I have one more
Okay.
year there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to in this next season? With all the skills you've developed, with all the knowledge you've developed and gained, and all the success you have, what are you looking to do differently moving forward? Because I know you used the word potential, which is
Yeah.
very true. What's going to be different about next season compared to this last season?
I think for me is understanding, not only time and score, but understanding how to impact winning even more. Yeah, I play defense, yeah, I rebound, all that stuff, but put my teammates in a better position to score and limiting my turnovers and that type of stuff with the ball in my hand. So
Mm-hmm.
if I had to say anything, I would say and be more effective with the ball in my hands, not so much without it.
All right. I think that's it. Oh no, wait, last thing. Uh, what about the things I forgot to ask were about sleep and diet and recovery? I know you say you don't eat cake, you're not out there at Crumble
Yeah,
every weekend.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but what's your sleeping, what's your diet, and then what's your recovery routine look like? It sounds like a lot of that has to do with the pool and the normal take of some of your gadgets, but that's what I'll leave you with.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very particular about my sleep because, as you know, all basketball players that I know struggle with sleep. I mean, you have a
Yeah.
bad game, you're struggling, whatever. So for me, I have I call it a cocktail between L-theanine, magnesium,
Mm-hmm.
lithium orate, all these things that are natural that help me sleep better and stay asleep for longer. So that's kind of sleep, and then I obviously wear a Whoop to measure
Yeah.
because
I saw that.
you
Mm-hmm.
you can't manage what you don't measure. That's
Yeah.
anything in life. I feel like so that's my sleep stuff, but all that is routine based. It's come home,
Mm-hmm.
hop on the Normatec, take my stuff, get ready for sleep. But so sleep, recovery, and what was the next one? Diet. So
Nutrition, yeah, diet. Mm-hmm.
diet wise, I'm very okay, I might once a week maybe have something I really want, but it might be a sweet something.
Yeah.
But in terms of my nutrition specifically, I don't bring any of the junk food in the house because I'm gonna eat it. I bring it in the
Yeah.
house, right?
Yeah.
My wife cooks, fortunately, so that
Mm-hmm.
that makes it a lot easier for me. But it's about everyone's body's different. Some people might need
Yeah.
to be vegan. Some probably need to eat more meat. But it's about testing it out and realizing, okay, this is when I feel the best. This is when I don't feel the best. So for me, I don't eat breakfast on game day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it's too much food. I eat breakfast and I come back eat pregame meal, and then I'm like, wait a second, now I have snack. Now this is too much food. So it's about
Mm-hmm.
finding your balance and then sticking to that to allow yourself to, play how you should play.
Yeah, and you look at those in combine or in combination, in totality. Does that look at and answer the question about recovery? You have a checklist of sleep, nutrition, and then everything else you do in between.
Yeah. So for me, I wake up. It's how I do it. When I wake up, look at my recovery score. Okay, it's low. Let's say it's 60%. We had a late game. I got home late,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
but it's a lift. It's a lift day. Okay, probably can't do shots after, and it's all listening to the body because this is a gadget, right? Who knows
Yeah,
if it's right? But
yeah,
it's supposed to, the whole idea for me why I use it is it keeps me conscious of sleep, all this type of stuff.
yeah. It
Does
gives
it
you kind
work?
of a benchmark.
Does it work? I don't know. So I after practice, I'm like, okay, I already lifted. How's my body feeling? Do I feel super tired? No. Okay, I'll shoot. So I'm basing everything off of feel while using these gadgets to maneuver to help me get a better recovery score, help me feel better.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, man. That's everything. I can't thank you enough
Of
for this. I had a lot of fun
course, of
learning more
course,
about you, seeing how your brain, your
of
heart,
course.
everything works and connects. Um, Once again, congratulations to you on a hell of a start to your career. Looking forward to seeing what the next chapters have in front of you. And may you continue to enjoy time with your wife and your son, man, in this summer.
I appreciate it, man. We have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, no doubt. I definitely would love to have you back. And hopefully, if the schedule permits, I'll get out to Utah and hopefully you're there. You your last day at camp?
My I have a camp August 4th, and then we'll probably leave before sometime in August 20th. Before that, something like that.
Oh, that's not too bad. The
No,
champs get some
no.
respect out there, man. Get a late August arrival. That's nice.
Yeah, exactly. So
All right, man. Look,
we'll
enjoy the
see.
rest of your night. Have a good
All
weekend.
right.
Yeah, have fun.
I appreciate it. All right, we'll
All right,
see you.
man. Take care.
All right. Bye.